Thank you, Chair. Thank you for appearing again. It's good to see you, Mr Grant.
You too, Senator.
Very simple questions about the sentiment survey. Who's surveyed? How many people are surveyed? How are they selected?
I think it's on notice.
Thank you.
Very happy to provide that. I don't have each of those exact figures before me in my notes, but very happy to provide them to you.
If you could, but could you talk about them now? Not the exact numbers, we'll get that on notice, but if you could just talk about how you make sure that this survey is accurate and representative.
Yep. So we, in the design of that survey, it's critically important that we make sure that that design has a method which makes sure we capture all of the various sentiment at different locations. So we look at geographic representation, we look at volume and the ability to show a representative. There's the number of people we speak to, the different categories of how we speak to them, whether it's face-to-face, whether it's group focus groups, whether it's online, whether it's via telephone. So there's a range of different methods we use. And we do break that down to make sure that we are capturing all of the different aspects across the basin geographically that are going to represent that, and then we break down the results accordingly as well.
So that selection process is internally?
Is conducted by the contracted surveying company.
That's what I was getting at.
Orima.
So you specify the broad range of people, and then they will do the selection.
They do the selection and they make sure it's statistically valid and that the results are reliable.
Okay. If you could just thank you. If you could just comment on the decrease in perceptions of independence, and who are they referring to as being not as independent? Yourself?
The public broadly, as well as water licence holders.
So the public generally perceive a lack of independence, or a decrease in independence.
Yeah.
Is that of your office?
Yes, it's more their perception of our independence. A very clear example that came out of the survey was any material where it says the Honourable Troy Grant. They think I'm a government representative in that regard, so we're removing that from our publications. On any of our promotional material, we have the Inspector General logo. And because we're funded by the Australian Government, the Australian Government coat of arms sit on our shirt. So we go to a field day like AgQuip, and when we're engaging with people, a lot of the sentiment is, I'm not talking to you, you're just another mob from the government. So we have that conversation, explain it, so we're independent, explain that, then they engage thoroughly. So for that type of thing, we've inquired and sought approval to not have that on our clothing when we're at field days, etc. But there's also a flip side that being the body we are, when we produce reports that we publish, that does have their coat of arms on because it gives it that authority figure as well. So there's two parts of the sentiment in that regard.
Which would make it pretty hard to manage.
Yeah.
On one hand it's an upside, on the other hand it's...
We consider ourselves a little engine that could, Senator, so we overcome any challenges.
And Senator, just in relation to the who, we break that down by groups so we can see the different types of things people are telling us. So we look at community as a broad, we look at water licence holders, we look at First Nations. So we break the results down by category, and each one of those again is built to be statistically valid through the methodology.
So just coming back, final question, Chair, just coming back to the comment about independence, it would indicate to me that if they perceive you're from the government, and that's why they're a bit wary, there's not so much trust for the government involved in the Murray-Darling Basin.
I just think there's a general distrust across all governments, sentiment out there from what we're hearing.
I wasn't talking about the Albanese government,
no, just
federal government.
Any government.
About any
Sorry,
government.
my answer is all governments perceived that way.
It's like all politicians.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.